Today we'll discuss the text function which makes date and numbers easily read and understood. Hi, this is Magnami, Lean Sigma Black Belt. I talked about the sum-ifs function in my last video. At that time, we converted the date of each month by a function in the work column. The function I used was the text function. If you enter equal text in a cell, the function's description will appear. It says convert the value to text in a specific number format. That's not very understandable. Let's see the actual formula. Click the formula bar, then you'll see an explanation of how to complete that formula. The parts separated by commas in the parentheses of Excel functions are called arguments. In this function, there are two arguments. Also, if an argument refers to another cell, the argument becomes a color and the referred to cell becomes the same color. This time it's blue. This feature is very useful when a formula becomes very complicated. In this example, the first argument refers to a purchase date in column C. The second argument is format text and specifies how to display the result based on the format. 4Ys as in year displays the year, and 2Ms as in month displays the month in 2 digits. If you change it to 4Ms, it displays the month in English. And if changed to 3Ms, it displays the month in 3 letters. Also, if you add one D as in day, it displays the day. Changing it to 4 Ds displays the weekday in English. If you don't use English on your computer, you may see something differently. There is a solution for that. Each language has a language code, and putting the code at the beginning in the format text displays it properly. I'll show you that. The language codes are 409 for English, 40A for Spanish, 439 for Hindi, 43E for Malay, etc. Put them in this format that you are seeing. By the way, you may have wondered how this text function can actually be useful. In fact, it can be used to aggregate data by year or weekday and many other ways. My company is a food service company. I often use this text function to compare sales between weekdays. This text function can change not only the date but also other numerical values to display various formats. For details, please refer to Excel help. This is very handy function of Excel. While connecting to the internet, press the F1 key on your keyboard to bring up Excel help, and you can search detailed explanations easily. Whenever you have a question, click the F1 key. Lastly, I'll show you examples of how I often use this text function. I often see others' data analysis only showing numbers and missing a solid conclusion. When you want to highlight your conclusion and add a little explanation, this text function is a must to use. For example, let's say that 2.85% is the final result of data analysis. If it says the final result is 2.85% near the result, it will be easier for my readers to understand my conclusion. Let's do it here. Type equal and the final result is, then it becomes an error. There is a rule that when enclosing a text in a formula, it has to be surrounded by double quotation marks. Therefore, put double quotation marks around the text, then it will show properly. Next, in order to connect the result of cell L2, you can use an AND mark. Put an AND and select the 2.85% cell. Then you can connect them. However, it shows 0.0285 without the percentage sign. Excel treats percent as the format. Here the text function is in play. After the and mark, type text and parentheses. After the L2, add a comma. Then format text becomes in bold. The format text of percentage is double quotation, 0.008% double quotation. You can change its decimal by changing the number of zeros. Then close the parentheses, and a percentage appears now. However, I should have put a space after is, so I'll do so. Lastly, add another and double quotation and period and another double quotation. Now it looks great. By using this text function, you can make your data analysis more meaningful to your readers. Please use this many times to master it. Thank you very much for viewing. Please click the subscribe button. Also, click and watch my other related videos. Thanks.